If you were a representative for Google, I would be applying for a job immediately. I think what's fun about our movie, and audiences have responded really well to the film, and the movie's very funny, but I also think the movie's really about something and has a lot of hope and optimism. And unfortunately, the economy is not in a great place, and there's something winning about guys who look around and say, this industry, the tech industry, is doing very well, but they kind of have to start over, start at the beginning again to kind of find a job with some value in it.
How long have you been using Google? Do you remember the first time you Googled something?
I do remember exactly where I was, what happened. When my friend wrote down the website, said go to this website, I was 21, so it was 10 years ago, yeah.
Do you remember what you Googled?
I don't, but I remember writing it down and the whole thing, and going, oh, okay, I'll have a look.
I had a assistant that before I was really even aware of Google, that I'd ask him questions, and I thought he was just a genius because I'd immediately get an answer. I'd ask, what was a Civil War battle? That, just any kind of, thing that I could come up with, and I could not stump this guy. And I didn't realize that you could just Google the stuff. So, yeah, and then when I discovered Google, then I became I fired him, right.
It's weird. I feel like it was just something that just existed, and that you just kind of, it was never like, oh my God, this website is amazing. I think it was just, I
remember having that moment of going, what do you mean you can ask any question and it will tell you? That I remember, but I don't remember when or how that happened.
Yeah.
But I remember clearly that moment of going, libraries have become extinct. Like, we have literally just crossed over into that threshold of now any information is at the tip of our hands. Anything can be asked, anything can be answered, anything can be accomplished.
So is there a bit of a nerd in you? Do you have a bunch of apps on your phone?
I don't. I just got an iPhone, but I have Instagram. That's it. I don't have any other apps. No.
So you don't surf a lot on the internet?
I've had in the past, like if I'm researching a part, or the internet's amazing, or like whatever you're reading in the paper, the newspaper, the news, all that sort of stuff, yeah, so I do it mainly for that.
I imagine as an actor sometimes it can be frightening to see what people Google about you. How do you handle do you sometimes Google your own name?
I can't be bothered.
them.
I can't be bothered with it.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I like looking up information and doing stuff, and I especially like looking at him because it always looks like he's having such a good time. He's always in Hawaii with his shirt off, looking unbelievable, laughing, having a great time with his son. So I'm always curious to keep up with what country is Owen having a blast in now.
So you happen to be young and successful, but in the movie we hear of a whole new generation of young people who have difficulties to find a job and are worried about being unemployed. What would you say to a 20-year-old who is frustrated about the job situation at the moment?
It's awful. I totally agree. Yeah, well, there's got to be better opportunities, and that comes from government and helping companies and creating more jobs for young people. I mean, and that's really, that's the role of government. So hopefully, that they're trying to lessen unemployment. Absolutely.
So just it's easier said than done, but to try not to give up and work really hard, and that's kind of what you see Vince and Owen's characters in the movie do, when they both lost their jobs, and Vince's girlfriend leaves them in the beginning. So just to work really hard and not give up, take risks.
I think that's great.
Did you meet any people who work for Google, and what were they like?
I did. I met a woman called Lorraine Tuhill, who's a really impressive lady. She's the head of global marketing here, and she was great. She was very helpful. I chatted to her a lot.
And did you take a tour of the Google campus?
Yesterday I did. Yeah, it was amazing. It was such an incredible place to work. It looks amazing.
What did you learn about Google that you didn't know before?
Kind of the philosophy about the whole place is very modern and unique, and their kind of way they run the company and their way they get people to work here in a very specific sort of environment. It's very unconventional, really.
So you're both fathers. What would you say to your children in 20 years from now when they are faced with the job situation, like unemployment and frustration?
Well, I think that was one of the nice things that I responded to with the script, and what's made it nice when we've had these screenings of the movie and see the response that the movie's gotten, that idea, you know, despite these generational differences that are kind of played for laughs, the things that connect us seem to always be pretty consistent, and that's wanting to be a part of something and feel like your life matters. And I would imagine in 20 years it's going to be exactly the same. So I think that people can get afraid of technology and afraid of change, but really the more consistent themes, that what connects all of us are those things that are always sort of consistent.
And I think, you know, the fun thing with Google as a campus is it's almost like an all-inclusive resort, because the food is free and they have like a volleyball court and a swimming pool and like a nap pod and that kind of stuff. So, you know, I think what's different here is that there's a culture that you can have fun at work, that your work can be a place where you actually have a good time. And I'll tell you, I wish my dad would have taken a page out of that book when I was younger. That would have been refreshing.
There's a lot of people, maybe more in Europe than here in the States, that are a little bit skeptical about sharing everything about yourself on the internet and Facebook, Twitter, and so on.
And they would be smart.
Yes.
What's
Yeah,
your
it's
perspective
nowadays
on that?
it's like no matter, even as actors, if we're kind of in the spotlight or whatever, it doesn't even, it's just everyday life, because you can literally go anywhere and someone can tweet it or put it on Instagram. So there's no privacy really anymore, and so I think you sort of have to have a balance so that you can still live your life and have things that you can keep to yourself or your loved ones that are close to you. But yeah, I feel like there's no privacy at all
It's also
anymore.
new. I think people are trying to figure
out,
all of that balance out. Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting thing. Yeah, I guess there's just so much scrutiny over privacy and stuff, but then, you know, Facebook has 5 billion users. So people, what do they want? Do they want everybody to know everything, or do they want nobody to know nothing? So it's like, it's a strange thing of, you know, I don't know.
Do you have like agents, managers who handle this for you? Are you in direct contact with your fans on Twitter or Facebook?
I'm in direct contact with my fans.
I think which is what people love about it, is that you can sort of bypass all of those filters and actually control something yourself. That's a very rare thing for an actor in any capacity.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly in our work lives, we can't do that at all. So it's nice to have something that you feel autonomous over.
And last question, what are your favorite movies of all time?
That's a tough question. Gosh, like, I've got so many, everything. I mean, I've always loved Thelma and Louise. That's always been a really old favorite of mine. And then Paris, Texas has been Bender's movie from the 70s. It's one of my favorite films. I mean, yeah, I could go on and on. I don't know. There's so many.
My favorite movies.
Das Boot?
Das Boot.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. You know, The Lives of Others.
Great.
Is a great movie. I
Big
love
fan of the Germans.
the Godfathers, Drugstore Cowboy. You know, Raging Bull, Tender Mercies, Breaking Away.
Bambi.
Bambi, yeah, of course.